questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Coming off the best shooting performance in NBA playoff history, the Pacers move on to Boston tonight for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics. ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
So the time is now for the Boston Celtics. It's not next year or whatever the case may be. No, it's now. It's now. It's either championship or bust. If they don't win the championship this year, it's complete failure.
Kendrick Perkins on Carlin versus Joe. Coverage of Game 1 tonight at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. The game also on ESPN and ESPN2. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel says quarterback Tua Tagovailoa missed some, but not all, of the team's offseason program. He's in the last year of his rookie contract and hoping to get a long-term deal. Tagovailoa led the league in passing yards in 2023. The Penn State Board of Trustees approves a $700 million renovation for Beaver Stadium. The work should be done in time for the 2027 college football season.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, I'll tell you why an NBA title for Anthony Edwards and the Wolves would be one of the most impressive runs we've seen in decades. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tombley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Shea Dixon in 15 minutes. We got a lot of LSU football talk today. Brian Kelly sat down with Scott Rabley. Saints opened OTAs. Ton to do. Glad you're here. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So we talked about it on Monday, felt that LSU on Monday was precariously in the field of 64, but a loss to Georgia could flip that and have us all with bated breath all week long, watching, waiting, hoping there are no bids stolen. But all that could be for naught if LSU would just go out and win a baseball game against Georgia. And my goodness, LSU needed one more win to leave no doubt. And they got it emphatically on Tuesday to open up the SEC baseball tournament. LSU beats Georgia 9-1 at the Hoover Met. They get their 14th win over an SEC team. They get a win over the number 6 RPI team in the country. Gauge jump every bit an ace. 7 innings pitched, just 1 run on 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, a walk, a season-high 105 pitches, and did it on short rest. More of that coming in just a second. Stellar defense behind Gauge Jump, which extended his day. 9 runs on 14 hits, and it could have been so much worse because you left 13 runners on base in this ball game. LSU is in the field of 64 no matter what happens the rest of the week in Hoover. It's all land yap from here. Tigers win. It was an important one to get. They got it. Here was Jay Johnson after LSU beat Georgia.
Very proud of our team. We're playing the best baseball we've played all year over the last 20 games, playing as good as anybody in the country. With the stakes of today's game, we controlled what we could control really well. Gage was phenomenal on the mound. We put this in play about 3 weeks ago that he would pitch this game if we'd put ourselves in the position we did, which was to be an NCAA tournament team. So he's been working hard and ready to roll, and was good today against one of the best offenses in college baseball. Big day out of Josh and the lineup. And another great zero in the air column. So
okay,
proud of how we played.
That's all good. Okay, a couple of things here. Observations from this game. Let's talk about Gage Jump. And you heard Jay Johnson say it there. They put this plan in place about 3 weeks ago. Now, we sat here yesterday not knowing that was the plan in place, but we did reference that Jay Johnson post-game after Ole Miss on Saturday said Gage Jump's been working really hard to be ready to go on 4 days rest. Been in the weight room. They've had a program for him, but they wouldn't know until closer to the game. But clearly, as Jay Johnson sort of conceded afterwards, this was the plan all along. And yes, this was a risk. And it was short rest. And I know there's the argument, well, he's going to be a big leaguer and you pitch every fifth day. And I get that. And Jay says that in a clip you're about to hear. But it's different if you've never done it. And not only had Gage Jump not done it, he's coming off of Tommy John a year ago, and he's been strong this year, undeniable. But there's a big difference between going into a pro system and letting them in the minor leagues have you pitch every fifth day by throwing 30 pitches and then 40 pitches and then sort of working your way up and building that stamina and saying, boom, go. Now, clearly, they set this plan in motion about 3 weeks ago, understanding how important this game was going to be. So here was Jay Johnson on the decision to go to Jump on short rest.
I respect the question, but that's major leaguer. That's what he's going to do with his life, is pitch on 4 days rest. I just got out ahead of it, of going like, hey, we're moving you to the first game. And then once we were playing well, won 3 series in a row, what we want to do is right in front of us. And so this game was probably going to be important. I don't think it should be relative to our resume and our season, but it probably is. And that's the best offense in college baseball statistically. And there you go. He's why we're one of the best teams in the country right now. And everybody got to see that today. I don't think it's as big a deal as we thought. And we were monitoring it very closely. But his excitement level when I went to him with this a few weeks ago was like, oh yeah, like let's go. And that plays a big part in it too.
I think everything Jay said there is candid, honest, spot on. Gage Jump's emergence has been a massive part, maybe the most significant part of LSU going on this run. We always say it, actions speak louder than words. And Jay has very much, you heard him in that bite, say it. Like, I feel like our resume was there. But can you play that again, just that clip of it? Okay. It's the one, the short clip that...
This game was probably going to be important. I don't think it should be relative to our resume and our season, but it probably is. And that's the best offense in college baseball statistically. And there you go.
Okay, so Jay has said routinely that his team is in. They're one of the best teams in the country. And I believe he's being candid that he believes that. And they're playing like it right now. But at the same time, he just told you, like, they should be in, but you can't leave it to chance. All the reasons we talked about yesterday. You're 13-17. There's 5 teams in the SEC that are 13-17. The committee may not put in 11 SEC teams. If you lose this game and there's bid stealers, you leave it a chance. So you had an opportunity to go with your season effectively on the line and throw your best guy, and they took 3 weeks to get him ready to do it, and clearly it was the right decision. But that was a risk they took, because what if you went out there with Gage Jump on short rest and it didn't go great? I'll remind you, if you were watching the game, LSU gets 2 in the first, and there you are in the bottom of the second in a 2-1 ball game, and you got 2 on for Georgia and 1 out, and Gage Jump gets a foul out and a strikeout to get out of his, and his pitch count was approaching 40 at that point through 2 innings. So they had made him work. His pitch count was elevated. It was a 3-1 game. They had 2 men on, a base hit there, and all of a sudden you're in a tie ball game, and Jump's pitch count is up, but he got out of it, and from that point on, he cruised. Defense was awesome. Tommy White's barehanded throw on the ground out. He caught that liner from Condon at third. Mac Bingham in the fifth caught a ball diving in right center. Ashton Larson in the sixth caught a ball when he banged up against the wall. All of those stellar defensive plays extended Gage Jump's outing, which was awesome. And then obviously, because this was a game where even though you had a comfortable lead, Jay was leaving nothing to chance, so he went and got his best guy in Griffin Herring to bring it home. And Herring did that. Now, it didn't start off great in the eighth because he walked the first two guys he faced, but then he was able to get out of it. He got Charlie Condon to ground into a double play. And one of the things that I tweeted before the game started that I had someone who sort of dove into the analytics shared with me, Charlie Condon bats 200 points lower against lefties than against righties. And I don't think it's any coincidence. In that situation, the eighth inning, with two on and Condon up, and you're thinking, man, do you go get Christian Little? No. You keep the lefty in there because here's the opportunity for Griffin Herring, the lefty, against Charlie Condon. He struggles more against lefties than he does against righties. And Herring made the pitch. You got the ground ball double play, and you ended up getting out of that inning. So all the buttons Jay pushed in this game worked. It was awesome. I mean, even on a day where you left 13 on base, Travinsky in the second grounded out with runners on second and third. You're up 3-0. That could have made it 5-0. Braswell grounded in double play top five with the bases loaded in a 5-1 game. You could have blown this game open so many times, but you got plenty. Braswell had his first 3-hit day of the entire year. He had 2 hits 11 times prior. First time he got 3 hits this year. It was just a great day for LSU baseball. They had to go get a win. They played like it. They were the more urgent team. They were the better team, and they get a top 10 RPI win. So LSU's ticket to regionals is punched. Now it's all a matter of where you're going to go, and I'll tell you what I'm excited to see. I am really excited to see on Monday, whenever they always have the camera with the teams that are hosting when they announce their brackets or whatever. I can't wait to see what regional host gets to watch LSU pop up as a 3 seed in their region. It's going to be like whenever Michigan was watching the college football playoff selection and they saw Bama pop up as the 4 and they all looked like they'd seen a ghost. Like nobody cheered at all. That's what it's going to be like for whoever draws LSU with Gage Jump and Luke Holman and Tommy White and this team playing the way they have as the 3 seed. Or maybe they might keep winning this week and make it all the way up to a 2 seed. But a great win for LSU, and they had to have it. So LSU against Kentucky tomorrow or Thursday, Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Against the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's a really solid team of veterans. We're going to talk about them more as we move throughout the day today. But this is a winnable game for LSU tomorrow. We'll see if Luke Holman will be on the bump for the Tigers tomorrow. Okay, it is after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Of course, I'm going to remind you, coming up on June 1st, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, Lafayette's own, proud endorser of Bud Light. Dustin's fighting Makhachev in the main event at UFC 302, and we're having a watch party at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge, courtesy of our friends at Bud Light. 8 lucky winners, plus their 2 guests, will get VIP table seating, free food all night, and as much Bud Light as they can drink throughout the entire night of fights. I'll be there. It's open to the public, so even if you're not one of our winners, still plan to be with us June 1st at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge to watch Dustin the Diamond Poirier against Islam Makhachev at UFC 302. We'll be there. If you want to win, all you got to do is text the word DIAMOND. That's, of course, Poirier's nickname. Text the word DIAMOND to our show text line, the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Drink easy with Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Drink easy with the official beer of the UFC, the official beer of AFR, Bud Light. Okay, Shea Dixon talking some recruiting next.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. You know, one of the things that I love the most about River City's 1 Hour Air is whenever one of the technicians comes to your house, you will get a phone call alerting you the technician's on the way. You'll get a text alerting you the technician is on the way. And you'll get an email alerting you the technician is on the way. And it's not just saying, hey, they're coming. It's the name of the technician, their photo, and reviews of that technician so you know exactly who is coming to your house. Here's a 5-star review from Jason Cervini, who said, I've been using River City's 1 Hour Air for several years, and their service is fantastic. I have a plan where they check my system seasonally. I always tell you about that. And they're always on top of whatever needs to be fixed and maintained. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at onehourbr.com. Spell it out, onehourbr.com, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Live After 5 is back this spring. Clock Out and Rock Out with us Fridays from April 12th through May 24th in downtown Baton Rouge for the free concert series, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another season filled with incredible music, delicious food, talented artists, and a lively second line parade. This Friday, come out to see the Michael Foster Project for Live After 5.
Well, a disappointing day for LSU recruiting last week when 5-star wide receiver Decorian Moore decommitted, but that's something, quite honestly, Shea Dixon told us to be on the lookout for, 2 or 3 weeks ago when he was here. Shea Dixon is here now. On 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. How are you, Shea?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing really well. I would ask, that's not Shea, that was Jimmy Ott. They put Jimmy Ott's picture on the screen.
Is Jimmy's photo up there while I'm talking?
It was. It is not anymore. It was.
Just leave it. Just leave it.
Just leave it. Oh my goodness. All right. So I would ask your reaction, but clearly you weren't surprised at the Decorian Moore decommitment, as you had told us that several weeks ago. But just to the best of your understanding, Shea, how did all of that play out?
I think when you look at it, he was considered a guy who was a heavy Texas lean early on. Family from Austin, they were, are all fans of Texas, and even throw any NIL discussions aside, which certainly come into play with a kid this good. Look, he's a 5-star receiver, number 1 in the country, and make no bones about it, he is elite. And LSU will keep recruiting him, because he has been committed before and he's just that good of a football player. But it was just a surprise that he picked LSU over Texas. And he did it right after the whole Peyton Durham, Colin Simmons announcement. They were all Duncanville teammates. LSU split those guys. A few days later, they pick up more. And I thought he would hold on for a bit and then explore options. But this spring, he ends up going to Ohio State a couple of times, Texas. He named a top 4 while already being committed. So the writing was kind of on the wall that, hey, look, he's looking around. He's probably going to open it up. And I think in the eyes of LSU, better to happen right now than on the eve of signing day or later in the process.
So they'll continue recruiting more, as well they should. He didn't have LSU on a list of finalists, so I don't know what the probability there is, but you're right, there's a long way to go. They've only got one receiver right now committed, and that's Teron Francis. Where does LSU look next for receivers in this class?
I think they just keep going with where they were already in the process. I mean, they have Louisiana, which always produces great receivers. We know that. 2 of them just went in the first round. Number 1 rated prospect in the state at receivers coming out of Edna Carr, Teron Francis. He's already committed. So you had more in Francis. Now you have Francis. And they had been recruiting a number of other out-of-state guys that already set up official visits. Khalik Lockett is probably one people will talk about the most because, A, he's coming out of Texas. So that makes him sort of a guy that they can battle regionally for and feel like you got a really good shot at it. And he's a 5-star on the On3 industry rankings as the number 2 receiver behind DeCorian Moore. And then C.J. Wiley, Chuck Wiley's son, is one of the top 6 receivers in the country coming out of Georgia. He's already made a bunch of visits to LSU. He's got an official visit set up. They'll have to beat out Kirby and company to, pry him out of Georgia. But at least you do have a legacy there that you're recruiting and who, again, is ranked as the number 6 receiver in the country. And another who's visited a ton, who's been ranked as a 5-star, Jamie French, who coming out of Florida was committed to Bama when Saban retired. He decommitted, and he's sort of named a number of different teams as kind of his lead groups, but LSU's been a constant, and he's made multiple visits. Now he'll have an official visit coming up. Tossing Derek Meadows, a guy out at Bishop Gorman, who also has an official visit set up for mid-June. He's ranked inside the top 10 on the industry rankings. So they had already, Cortez Hankton had already been recruiting this wave of guys, even with Moore and Francis committed. Now I think the focus kind of really turns to them for LSU fans who are saying kind of what's next.
Shea, what about as they move through this portal cycle, right? And I know Brian Kelly has given several interviews, gave one to Scott Rabley, the Advocate, and said they're done at defensive tackle, but could be looking at other positions. Any ideas, best guess, what they might be targeting right now in the portal for the 24 season?
I read the interview as well, and I thought that was telling that he said, hey, look, with a few scholarships left, where Suggs would be the final addition at DT. And Matt, there's nobody else out there who fits what they're looking for in terms of, hey, if you're not going to come in and be in the rotation this year, then there's not a point in signing you because we can either fill in another position or just hold the scholarship. And if they're entertaining filling other positions, I just go back to the last time, like you said, Brian Kelly's doing these wave of interviews. The last time we all spoke to him together, the position he circled outside tackle was punter, and they don't know what they have there. And I think he said in the spring game, he said he was upset with it. I don't know if he made it like about the whole spring, but the reality is Peyton Todd has been in the program a number of years, and we haven't gotten the chance to see him yet. Did they bring anyone in? I don't know if it's a scholarship or not. You can always kind of navigate those waters with specialists, but I wouldn't be shocked if they looked at a position like that. And look, I know people want more corners and all that. There's just not guys out there that in the mind of the staff, at least from speaking with sources, that at this point trump just developing what you have in Stamps and a new guy like PJ Woodland and others who if you bring a guy in, is he that much better than them, or do you just go ahead and buy into what you have? And I think they'll kind of roll with that.
He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon, on 3 the Bengal Tiger. What about at the defensive line position, Shea, defensive tackle in the high school ranks? Like, we know what they have coming in, right, in this summer, but what about for 2025?
Yeah, we had an article on the site today about one Lone Star State defensive tackle coming out of Geyer, where Ryan Yates played, who transferred out this past offseason, but played a good bit as a true freshman last year. But Xavier Akpanu, who was a guy Bo Davis recruited heavily at Texas as a guy coming out of Denton. LSU is considered the team to beat at this point over Texas, and now he's come out and said, hey, look, they're the front runners as I get into my visits. And I think this will become a theme, and I've talked about it before, this cycle, where you sit back and you say, okay, how does LSU build up on the D-line under Bo Davis? Well, for the future, it's not going to look like what it look, right now. They've had so much turnover year over year, and it's a lot like what we saw Jamar Cain when he came from Oklahoma. When you come from Texas and you're recruiting D-linemen, you're recruiting the same guys you would be at LSU. So he's kind of picked up where he left off, right, when he was in Austin. And a lot of these guys are either Texas commits or they are Texas's top targets because that was his board. So I think we'll start to see some of those dominoes drop here in the coming months. They don't have a D lineman committed yet, but I think guys like this are guys you watch for in terms of Texas guys or Texas commits, Brandon Brown being one of them out of Florida, a D tackle who visited for the spring game. I think the theme of the cycle is Bo Davis, picking up on Texas commits and trying to get them to become LSU commits.
Shea, I know summer is always big, right, with the elite camps and everything that come up in June. What is that schedule like here? It kind of sounds like the staff's getting some downtime right now, and they're going to ramp up for camps in June. What's that schedule like?
Yeah, everyone works, I think it's under a 17, 20-something day window where you have all your camps in that stretch. So LSU will kick it off on, I think, Sunday, June 2nd. They might have a youth camp right before that, but that's when they'll have the 7-on-7 tournament, O-line, D-line camp. They always have kicking camps mixed in, so they'll get guys in for that. But the elite camp, I think the first one is going to be June 6th, and then about a week later, they'll have that second big elite camp. Then they'll do the Friday Night Lights. That's where they kind of finish things, which will be June 21st. And that's when they had Bryce Underwood and Harlan Berry and all those guys in a year ago. And now, 10 months later, those guys are committed and the number one quarterback and running back in the country. So another O-line, D-line camp thrown in there, Matt. And it is one of the more important stretches, 21-day, month stretches of the recruiting calendar, because it's their only chance where the NCAA allows them to get hands-on and work kids out that ultimately you offer and commit or don't.
Yeah, Shea actually did just pull it up on the LSU Twitter that youth camp is on Thursday, May the 30th, and then Sunday, June 2nd is when that 7-on-7 O-line, D-line camp gets everything started. Man, it's almost here, man. What a busy summer it'll be. Hey, before you go, I'd love it if you get a thought on the Jaden Rashada thing. I think everybody saw Rashada suing Billy Napier and some boosters at Florida. They had, allegedly promised him $13.5 million in an NIL deal. They reneged, and now he's suing them. So, got any thought on that?
Are we surprised that it ended this, or is that we've come to this, given that it wasn't, a year ago? Probably a little over a year ago when he was the first guy we publicly found out with signed, documents of what an NIL deal looked like. And it was this $14 million deal, and it looked exactly like a coach's contract would, stay this long, get this much, do this, get this much. So for that to all have gone down and resulted in that and then blow up, I'm not shocked at all that this is coming through. I'd be curious to see now how it all goes, because, boy, I would think any head coach sits here and pauses now about saying, okay, let's see what we're getting ourselves into with every guy. Not that they're not doing that already, and certainly probably early on saw stuff like this unfolding and said, hey, let's be careful with how we approach things. But this will be, I'd have to imagine, right, the NIL storyline. And there'll be other big ones down the line, especially as NIL sticks around. But this is the one to remember early. I will say, did you read the original article and the Kirby quote?
I must have missed a Kirby quote. No, I mean, I read the big expose at ESPN.com today, but I didn't see a Kirby quote.
Oh, I wish I would have had it pulled up. It said something, and I don't think it was fake, but it was something along the lines of Rashada had mentioned it to other coaches, including Kirby Smart, who gave him his blessing to move forward with the decision.
Oh, with that lawsuit,
to back out of it. Yeah.
Oh God. I bet he is. I bet he does give the blessing to shed a lot of negative light and shine a lot of negative light on the Florida Gators. What a time. You're right. It's going to set a ton of legal precedent, however it plays out. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon, on 3, the Bengal Tiger. We always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep, sounds good. We'll talk next week, Matt.
All right, man. Be well. That's Shea Dixon. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. How about 24 Volkswagen Tiguan 2.9 APR for 60 months? Atlas and Crossport, you get 4.9% APR for 72 months. It's incredible deals right now at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. The Memorial Day celebration is going on, and our friends at South Point are rolling out the offers. Remember, always they offer the college student discount. It's $500 off for college students on any purchase. So make sure you get by South Point Volkswagen. You can shop their inventory on the lot, online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, game 2 in Hoover's underway. South Carolina is beating Bama 9-5. That's bottom 6. So we'll keep you posted. We'll kind of set the stage for the rest of the day there in Hoover when we go around the SEC in just a bit. I do have some thoughts as well on Jaden Rashada suing Billy Napier, these boosters. We'll get to that later this hour. And by the way, we did just add, we appreciate it, Jay Johnson's going to join us in 30 minutes straight up 4 o'clock. So Coach Jay is going to join us from Hoover. His squad got the job done today, and we'll talk to Jay Johnson again here in about 30 minutes from right now. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break and go around the SEC next.
AFR.
Man, one of our AEs today was at a conference, and our friends over at Action Industries were there. And word kind of got around as people were talking. They're like, oh, yeah, that's the company that's partnered with AFR and Moscona. And I love to hear that because I want the brands and the companies that we partner with here to be synonymous with our show and our show with them. And I'm so proud to be partnered with Action Industries. What a great company, a Louisiana-based company that's been around for 42 years. They opened up their doors in 1982. And one of the most impressive things is I was talking to the folks over at Action as we were beginning our relationship, and they kind of told me the story about how they were proceeding but realized to grow they probably need to take a step back to be able to take 10 steps forward. So much humility, and they've done amazing work, and their safety record is exemplary. You got to learn more about them over at Action Industries.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward.
always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and
Open up a throttle and stir a little dust. Just look at her face. She ain't a fooling me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Just having the opportunity to pitch this game in a must-win situation is kind of what you dream of and what you love to do. And I was super excited, even though it was a 9:30 game. I didn't care. So I was super pumped. And once we got 2 in the first, I was like, okay, just preserve this lead as long as I can, and then put up some more runs. And the defense helped me a lot. So it was a really good win.
Gage Jump, what a dominant performance. All the makings of an ace with that performance today by the Tiger. Ace, who went out 7 innings pitched and was just awesome. 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 7, walked just 1, and put LSU into the winner's bracket there in Hoover. So Jay Johnson will be with us in 25 minutes from right now. Shout out to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. As a matter of fact, today, Richard Condon and I, you've heard me talk now for several weeks about the John Deere Gator, the ATV that they're raffling off to benefit 4-H and FFA. Well, Condon and I today took the Gator on a little bit of a joyride in downtown Baton Rouge. So there's a full video that's coming, but you can go look at the Sunshine social media, Facebook, Instagram, and you can see some of the behind-the-scenes footage here of Condon and I. And one thing that I can tell you definitively happened, there, if you're watching, there's Grace, who's the marketing director at Sunshine, who had the misfortune of riding on the back of the Gator while Condon and I were in the front seat to film this whole thing, but she did a great job. Condon definitely noticed some folks, some women downtown Baton Rouge mowing grass and doing lawn work around a school or something like that. And he noticed that their equipment was orange, and he was going to go confront them why they weren't using green John Deere equipment. When we came upon them, what became very evident that these were prisoners as part of a work release program at Hunt Correction. So Condon is going up to prisoners who are mowing grass, and these women who are mowing the grass. Yeah, it's part of their work release. And they had no idea what he was talking about. The guard who was there ultimately came up. I think they kind of had a good laugh about the whole thing. But yes, this was all part of what was captured today. You just never know with Richard Condon how things are going to go. And that was our morning today.
Were y'all taking that thing all around downtown Baton Rouge? Were you the reason that traffic was backed up on Government when I was trying to get here?
That was a problem. I don't know why that traffic was backed up. We went into the neighborhood the other way instead of going on the other side of Government Street. Okay. But I will tell you this. If you don't, this is what I learned. So if you win this Gator, if you don't have your seatbelt on, it will not go over 12 miles an hour.
That's a good thing.
Well, so you need the seat buckled. And there was a point where my hat flew off, so I got out, got my hat, got back in, and I was trying to punch it to go. And I didn't know this. and it just started sputtering and the gears were grinding. I was like, did I break this thing?
Oh, no,
Like,
yeah.
did I break a $20,000, $30,000 ATV? Then they told me, no, look, you have to buckle the seatbelt, which was safety first.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
Yes.
man.
So go buy your ticket, sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com, EQUIP, Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shout out to Rooney and to Grace. We had a lot of fun this morning filming that video, so it'll be up soon. Okay, it's after further review. We got Jay Johnson in about 21 minutes from right now. Today was also the first day of OTAs for the New Orleans Saints. And, golly, I want to dive deep into this, and I will in the next hour. But if you missed it, this was probably the most newsworthy thing to come out of it. Can you play number 3, please? This was how they're lining up right now on the offensive line at tackle.
Yeah, look, I think you're going to see a few things throughout the course of training camp where we're going to, maybe try some different things. I think that's kind of the direction that we're looking at right now, and really working Taliesin over on the left side and giving Trevor an opportunity to work on the right side. We're still waiting to see, where Ryan Ramczyk is when we get, probably to training camp. It'll be the first time that we would even potentially see him. So I think that's kind of the thought process.
So we saw in rookie camp, Taliesin Fuanga taking reps at left, and today, the first day of OTAs, not only was Fuanga repping at left tackle, but Trevor Penning at right tackle. I think my assumption had been they would certainly look at Penning at one of the guard spots, at left guard, if it didn't work out at left tackle, if Fuanga emerged there. Now, certainly, if Fuanga can play left and Penning is capable of playing right tackle, which I don't know that he is, you could always slip him inside and play left guard, how that works out. But there's Dennis Allen saying that's the first look they're taking right now is Fuanga at left tackle and Trevor Penning at right tackle. I got many more thoughts on that and what they had to say about the offensive line as a whole. Dennis Allen made a comparison, was asked about a comparison to Taysom Hill that we made actually here several weeks back. We'll delve into that. So a lot to get into from that and some of the interview with Brian Kelly and Scott Rabelais. So a lot to do. All right. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
All right. We're just going to take a look at the SEC baseball tournament standings as it stands right now. So Game 1, of course, was LSU and Georgia. By now, we've talked about it. Tigers took care of business. They beat Georgia 9-1 in Game 1. South Carolina currently beating Alabama in Hoover in the second game of the day. Following South Carolina, Alabama will be a pretty massive game with Florida and Vanderbilt. Told you yesterday that conversations I had on Sunday and Monday were that Vanderbilt presently would be out of the field of 64. These are two teams that are 13 and 17 in the conference. You would assume that whoever loses this game would likely be out of the field of 64, in particular if it's Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt very well playing for its season in that ball game. And then tonight, the 12-seed Ole Miss against the 5-seed Mississippi State will wrap up the day today. So just as we look ahead on the bracket, how it'll look after today. So with LSU beating Georgia, the Tigers will play Kentucky tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. LSU, it's a great benefit knowing your start time and not having to wait for delays and extended games and things like that. The winner of the game that's currently going on, where South Carolina is leading Bama 9-5, they're going to the bottom of the seventh, with South Carolina leading Alabama. If Carolina holds on, whoever wins this game will play Arkansas in the second game tomorrow. And then the winner of Vandy, Florida, will play Tennessee. The winner of Mississippi State, Ole Miss, will play Texas A&M. So that's how it looks there at the Hoover Met for the next couple of days. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. If you didn't get that graduate on your list, the gift they wanted, or haven't gotten a gift yet, you can still go buy Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Watches, writing instruments, of course, bracelets and necklaces and rings, and so much beautiful jewelry. As a matter of fact, if you go to the website, lmfj.com, just go to the website. When you go to the homepage and scroll down, you will see right there the graduation, shop our graduation gift guide. When you tap that, all the different potential graduation gifts pop up right there from, as we mentioned, necklaces and pendants and rings and watches and writing utensils and earrings. Check it all out at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all. It's after further review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. I do want to talk about Jaden Rashada suing Billy Napier and some of the Florida boosters. That's coming up. Jay Johnson in 15 minutes from right now. And we got to actually have a ton of football stuff today. Not only do we have to talk a lot about what Dennis Allen had to say after the first day of OTAs, but Brian Kelly met with Scott Rabelais, and ESPN dropped their post-spring SP Plus rankings, which, again, it's just a metric. But one thing is becoming abundantly clear about this LSU football team. The subjective opinions of people that cover the sport are not matching the objective nature of the computers and of Las Vegas odds makers and things like that. The computers and the odds makers think more highly of LSU than do the pundits. And I think it's because we're all sort of prisoners of this moment where we saw LSU, they were so bad on defense a year ago, and then you lose a Heisman-winning quarterback and 2 first-round picks at receiver and assume the offense would take a step back. Well, the metrics don't seem to think so. We'll talk more about that coming up in 30 minutes from right now. Okay, quick break. When we come back, I got my thoughts on Jaden Rashada suing Billy Napier, because while you probably know how I feel about it, I think the precedent that this sets is actually the real story. So we'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Hey, maybe this weekend is graduation for that graduate in your life. Or maybe just this weekend is when you're actually going to have the party, the graduation party. Well, get by Rouse's. They'll have everything you need. If you need those graduation party platters and trays, they got them. If you want ribs or chicken or whatever it may be, they've got it. If you want the finger trays, the finger food trays, like the cheese trays, the fruit trays, the vegetable trays, the finger sandwiches, they've got it all at Rouse's. If you want to congratulate your grad with a cake, a personalized cake, you could certainly do that at the Rouse's Bakery. Flowers as well, and all the beverages that you could possibly need. Either adult beverages for those who are of age and beverages for the kiddos. They've got the best selection. Hey, remember, when you're over at Rouse's, shop their wine and spirits. Their wine selection, buy 4, save more. The more wine you buy, the more you save. It allows you to try a lot of different bottles. It's at Rouse's. This feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or
We ride back and forth till we run out of light. Take it to the barn, put it up for the night. Climb up in the loft, set and talk.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
The biggest story in college football today, as you've probably seen, is Jaden Rashada is suing Billy Napier and Florida Boosters over the NIL deal. The quick recap, if you forgot about it, Rashada was a highly touted prospect. He agreed to a reported $13.85 million NIL deal. He says Florida reneged after he signed his letter of intent. He ended up transferring to Arizona State, and now, after 1 year at Arizona State, hit the portal again, and he's at Georgia now as a transfer there with the Bulldogs. Rashada, the interesting thing as well is that as we delve into this lawsuit, we're learning more about how all of this transpired, because Rashada's on the record, they're naming names, they're giving text messages and documented info that they have throughout all this, and apparently these boosters promised Jaden Rashada $13.85 million. He even lays out how the payments would be disseminated. The problem for Rashada is he apparently had already agreed to a $9.5 million NIL deal, my goodness, from the University of Miami. So he left that $9.5 million deal on the table to take the Florida deal, which was $13.85 million. They even named Hugh Hathcock, who was the guy, as they say in this piece, has names on the building and is an 8-figure donor to Gator Athletics. He's a defendant in the lawsuit, along with his auto dealership, Velocity Automotive. So apparently, Hugh Hathcock, thank God Terrier's not here today, man. Hugh Hathcock, dude's super rich, man. I mean, I shouldn't laugh.
You have to be super rich with that name.
How's T-Bob going to do this?
I
mean, when the apparently, he was going to foot the bill for Jaden Rashada. He flips to Florida. We all know the rest of the story from there. So Rashada and his attorneys, they're suing for damages of the money he lost from the Miami deal, the money that was taken away during the Florida deal that had been signed and agreed upon. I don't know if it's breach of contract. I don't know what legal leg he has to stand on. And at some point, we'll probably get an attorney on here to talk about this, maybe from a greater legal perspective. But for me, the more interesting thing with all of this is whatever happens, it will set a precedent. For example, the reason the NCAA isn't even trying to fight NIL cases anymore, to enforce anything, is because every time they go to court, they lose. The precedent has been set. If the NCAA is going to court in an NIL matter, it will lose. So the NCAA said, okay, do whatever y'all want. We ain't fighting lawsuits no more. We're not paying for lawsuits. We're not doing it anymore. So they're letting everybody do what they want to do. If Jaden Rashada wins in his lawsuit against Billy Napier and these Florida boosters, that would, in theory, set a legal precedent that would open the door for more future athletes to sue when they feel like NIL deals don't follow through. Is it a breach of contract? Are these legally binding? I don't know. A judge somewhere along the way will determine this. And maybe Jaden Rashada gets damages. Maybe they settle. I don't know, however it goes. But based on that legal precedent, I do think it'll determine if we see more student athletes file lawsuits. Do we see collectives become more diligent with their legal documents in these contracts, these NIL contracts. Do they not offer contracts that are this lucrative anymore? All of those remain to be seen. But ultimately, this certainly speaks to what we know, which is the dollar amounts keep growing. You have an even greater delineation between the haves and the have-nots. And we are eventually headed to a point, because you're never going to cap NIL. And I don't think you're ever going to have people that stop caring about winning. So you're going to come to a point where college football is going to break away, and it's going to take a large revenue stream or revenue share away from college athletic departments. And the big losers, it's not going to be football. It's not going to be men's basketball. The big losers are going to be the non-revenue sports. I mean, I could sit here and argue to you, like, why does the golf team fly private and stay in nice hotels? Those days are going to come to an end, because you're not going to be able to fund the programs the way you currently are. Period. That's just the way it's going to go. So I'll be watching as closely as anyone to see what the precedent is set here with the Jaden Rashada situation. LSU baseball earlier today, they win the opening game at the SEC tournament for the 10th time in the last 11 tries, and have, for all intents and purposes, solidified their regional berth. Jay Johnson is in Hoover. His team gets the afternoon to kick up their feet and relax a bit. He'll join us when we come back right after SportsCenter. We'll talk about the game today. We'll look ahead to Kentucky tomorrow. So we appreciate Coach Jay for a couple of minutes. We'll do that when we come back right after SportsCenter. It's After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Hour number 2 is staring you straight in the face. Don't you move.
AFR.
Brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you are thinking about buying land, make sure your first call is to First South Farm Credit. Or you can go online to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. You know, First South Farm Credit obviously is first in agriculture, but farmers know about First South Farm Credit. Really, the person, the potential land buyer that probably needs more information, or maybe people buying that recreational property. Maybe you're trying to buy a hunting property. You know, this is the best time. I've learned this from sitting next to Terrier for so many years. This is the best time to start prepping your summer food plots. You want to start bringing the deer in now. You want to build your deer stand now, so that way the deer get used to you being around and not hunting them. You all understand that. So this is the time to call First South Farm Credit. Visit them online at firstsouthland.com.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Celtics were the best regular season team in the NBA with 64 wins. The Pacers are the 6th seed. The Eastern Conference Finals start tonight in Boston. It's the first 1 versus 6 matchup since the Spurs and Rockets in 1995. ESPN's Bobby Marks believes the Pacers have a chance.
They're the healthier of the team. We don't know when Porzingis is going to come back. I like their bench better. At the end of the day, if Tatum and Brown play like all NBA players, yeah, Boston probably wins this series. But I think I give Indiana more of a shot than probably most people do.
Bobby Marks on Carlin versus Joe. ESPN radio coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern. The game also on ESPN and ESPN2. Victor Wembanyama of the Spurs is the first player to make the NBA All-Defensive team as a rookie. The others on the team, Rudy Gobert, Bam Adebayo, Herb Jones, and Anthony Davis. Jets coach Robert Saleh says 40-year-old quarterback Aaron Rodgers has no restrictions during OTAs this week.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. Close Shave America. Close Shave Barbasol.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Saints are at OTAs today. A little LSU football talk. Get to in about 15 minutes. ESPN's updated their post-spring SP Plus rankings. But, of course, the big story here today, LSU baseball. If there was any lingering doubt about their regional berth or their regional prospects, that have all been evaporated now. It's a lock. LSU beats Georgia 9-1. They needed to win. They got it emphatically. And Jay Johnson's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes from Hoover. Coach, it's a pleasure. Thanks as always. How are you?
Doing great, Matt. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I really appreciated the candor in your post-game press conference when you talked about kind of prepping Gage Jump for the last 3 weeks about this, thinking you might need this win for regionals. Can you walk us through just a little bit what went into prepping him over the course of 3 weeks to be ready for this?
Yeah, I think the first thing is this is a major league pitcher. I think that might come as a surprise to some people because he hasn't been on the college baseball scene forever because he's missed the last year and a half and was a transfer here. But he's got everything he needs to be a major league pitcher. His life is going to, revolve around pitching every fifth day or with 4 days rest. And so we kind of started there, and I think he was excited about, this is something he's going to do. Secondly, he's already had Tommy John surgery. Like, that's already in the rearview mirror. So that's kind of nice that you can kind of take that off the table. Then it became he's a really good routine guy, really good into his recovery, fitness, weight room, all of those types of things. Matter of fact, Sunday night I went down to get something to drink and walked by the weight room at 10:30, and he was in there. And, kind of doing what he does. And he's a special competitor. He's a great pitcher. He's been unbelievable for us, really, his last 7 starts. I knew that not everybody really knew his name when we landed him, but that this would be exactly what he'd be doing for us, and that was highlighted today, obviously.
In the second inning, when they got a couple of guys on, the pitch count was getting into the mid upper 30s. Were you thinking that his day might be shorter than you'd hoped?
Well, we were just kind of evaluating that, and he's done this a few times where he'll bend, but he won't break. Like, he gave up a run, but then he left 2 guys out there. And then he just kind of got stronger. And I think the key to the game was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Man, he really kept his pitch count down and allowed us to actually get through 7. But I was just kind of watching, obviously going on shorter rest. If I felt like the stuff was getting away, he was getting fatigued, we would have made a move earlier for sure.
Yeah. A big part of that too, Coach, is the defense. I mean, in the 5th, the play by Bingham, the 6th, the play by Larson. Tommy White made 2 incredible plays there at 3rd today as well. I mean, I'll ask sort of an open-ended question. I mean, how is that the best your defense you've seen your defense play all year? I mean, they were incredible today.
Yeah, I can't remember back at Alabama specifically the last couple games, but I believe that's at least 4 in a row of airless baseball. I think the pitcher's throwing more strikes, the tempo's better, the defense is alert. They're getting good reads off the bat, and we are playing better defense than we have maybe ever, in my 3 years here right now. And that's really been part of this formula that is helping us, these last 5 weeks.
I know you talked about, and I totally understand, coaches, like, you have to be adamant, you have to lobby for your team and everything. Did you feel like you needed this win today to get in?
I looked at it as like an opportunity. You're playing the number 5 RPI team, at least going into the game. Their winning percentage is really high. The opponent's winning percentage counts as 50% of your own RPI. So I looked at it as an opportunity. I will be very honest with you. When you have 18 wins in the top 45 going into today was the 19th. When you were 23-3 outside the schedule, outside of the conference, I think we're like 10-3 against teams 26-40 in the RPI, which is the bubble. Like, we have one blemish that we went 13-17 in league in the SEC, and we played 8 regional teams in out of the 10 weekends. So I feel like we were solid and we're a lock, but you can't always account for that. I think today really, really helps. And I think if you just turn on the TV and look at that team playing today, it's one of the 10 best teams in the country. And I'm excited that I think we're going to have an opportunity to go forward and continue to prove that.
A couple more minutes here with Jay Johnson. So turn the page to Kentucky tomorrow. Has Luke Holman been going on a 3-week workout routine to pitch on 4 days rest?
I'm only I'm halfway through game 2 of their series last weekend in terms of their lineup. So we're not ready to make a call on what we're going to do just yet. Obviously, we'll do what's best for Luke. Obviously, him and Gage are spearheading this pitching staff and want to keep them both in a good spot. We'll probably make a decision tonight. I'm comfortable saying he'll probably pitch one in the next 2 days.
You can't blame me for at least trying to find a creative way to ask the question. But
that was good. That was really good, actually.
Look, you play Georgia today and Kentucky tomorrow. It's kind of an oddity, I would think, when you go to Hoover and your first 2 games are against teams you didn't play during the regular season. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Well, I think it could be both. I think for us, we work really hard on the scouting thing, even if it's just a 1-game deal. Like, our staff prides ourselves on that. So we're putting a lot of effort into it. Obviously, it's needed and warranted for where we're at. So in this case, I think maybe it could be an advantage for us. As far as the rest of it, it's baseball. It's, controlling the strike zone. It's having good at-bats with runners on base. It's playing the defense we were talking about, and the pitcher's flooding the zone. And if we do that, then we're going to be fine. And we just want to make sure we line our team up right with anything we can take advantage of.
2 more. We can do them quickly. 22-8. I mean, Kentucky has been awesome this year. What outside of that record I don't know that they have a ton of like superstar power, but a lot of veteran, really good players. What can you tell us about this team that obviously you played last year in the Super Regional?
Yeah, it's literally, with the exception of a couple pitchers, it's the exact same team we played in the Super Regionals last year with Waldschmidt, Petrie, Burks, Lopez, Daly, Smith. It's almost the same lineup. And they're old. They really know what they're doing. They're confident. And kind of one of those teams that it feels like for them it's their time right now. So it'll be a great challenge, and really I always enjoy playing them. Looking forward to playing them.
Last one, what's the schedule like for the team, the rest of the guys tonight with a 9:30 start tomorrow?
Yeah, so what we'll do is we got them back to the hotel, got a good post-game meal in, basically told them to rest the rest of the afternoon. We'll have dinner tonight. We'll have a meeting at 6:45 to just kind of go over the itinerary for tomorrow. And then at 9:30, we'll do our scouting meeting. Normally we do that day of game, but when you get those early games, that's a little hard. So we tuck them into bed with a good report on the pitcher and the opposing lineup, and then get them up early, 6:30 breakfast again tomorrow, and we're taking swings by 7:30 in the cages over there at the Met. So pretty busy day for sure.
Let's go. What a great time of year. Jay Johnson, we always appreciate the time. Congrats on the win. Good luck tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, man.
That's our pleasure. Jay Johnson, we certainly always appreciate his time. Just very generous. Bill Franquez helps facilitate that. So, guys getting ready for game tomorrow, good enough to spend 10 minutes with us, so we appreciate it. I tried on the Luke Holman question. I mean, come on. Sometimes you can't just throw the straight jab. They see it coming. You kind of have to come with a little bit of like a rope-a-dope roundhouse to see if you can get him.
You got a chuckle out of him too there. I mean, he's focused right now. So to get the chuckle, I feel like that's good. Man's in a hotel room watching games.
It's not the first interview I've ever done in my life. I've had questions dodged, many a question dodged over the years. But look, he took that one like a pro. He sidestepped it. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do tomorrow. It was just very clear, and you could hear, like he said here, he said at his post-game press conference, like he feels like all the metrics point to LSU being a regional team, and I agree with him. Like the fact that you're having the conversation is absurd. You're a top 30 RPI team. Everything he just said. The quad one wins, the KPI, your KPI was 21. You just got another win over a top 10 team. Like there is no argument against LSU being one of the best or most deserving 64 teams in the country. Like there is no argument against it. LSU is just say this out loud. Is LSU one of the best 64 teams in college baseball? Of course they are. It's absurd to think otherwise. But you heard him say it there. Like you can just never, when it's in the hands of the committee, you can never assume what they're going to do. So you have to not leave it to chance. And if there was a question at all, that's over now. I mean, after this win today, it's over. So, your RPI and KPI, just playing the next 2 days against Kentucky and whomever else it may be, you're going to continue to see those numbers go up. So all the metrics will only improve over the next 2 days. So is it Holman tomorrow? Don't know. What he said was Holman will pitch one of the next 2 days, which of course we know. But do you give Holman his full rest? But clearly he understood the importance of this game. Like he said, look, 3 weeks ago, you can look and say, you know what? That game in Hoover is probably going to matter a lot to us. Let's make sure Gage Jump is ready to go in that one. And they did, and it worked. They tailored a plan. He had the foresight to do it for 3 weeks, and it worked. He nailed it. And because of that, and Gage Jump the way he delivered today, LSU's in. I don't. Even if you lose the next 2 days, I can't see a scenario where you're out. So I just cannot wait to whoever draws LSU as a 3-seed in their regional is just going to be pissed. And I can't wait to see however that video looks. All right. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. You know where to find them. More than 30 offices across 12 different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. If you weigh or measure something. ISO 17025 accreditation, the track system, which I tell you all the time about, but so often a lot of people know Michelli for their scales. What they don't know is all the calibration and the other services they provide for your precision measurement devices across dozens of different industries. Use the website as a tool. Go there, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, Michelli, Michelli.com for Michelli weighing and measurement. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, the ESPN.com listed their post-spring SP Plus rankings. So I'm looking forward to delving into that a little bit. I can tell you the computers, boy, they like LSU. We'll get into that next here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Of course, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Get by either. You can always go try something new. I love telling you about these cocktail experiences over at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. You know, Chef Jason Aber has done an awesome job of crafting that menu, and you can have a casual, upscale dining experience, craft cocktails, great wine, indoor-outdoor flow as well there at Tallulah. It's a great opportunity. You knock off work, you want to go hang out, you're looking for a place to have dinner during the week or weekend, clients, make sure you check out Tallulah. We're right there inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. And remember, downtown, it's the Watermark Hotel. The Watermark Hotel is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. It's part of the Autograph collection. Just walking into the lobby and seeing the Gregory in the lobby bar is an unmatched experience. So go check them out downtown at the Watermark Hotel.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song.
And one more teeny weeny ride before I take her home. thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns me on.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
As always, big shout out to our friends at Sunshine. If you want to buy tickets for that LSU Gator, the ATV, they'll be giving it away for the weekend of the Vanderbilt game. But you can buy tickets right now at sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Remember, all proceeds are going to benefit FFA and 4-H. So make sure you get to the website, sunequip.com, to buy your raffle tickets. God, we got a lot to get to. ESPN.com has updated their post-spring college football SP Plus rankings. And if you're not familiar, this is Bill Conley, a self-described nerd who's been a friend of the show and come on the show for a lot of years. And he put together the SP Plus, which he releases the first one in February. Then he updates the metrics after spring and then so long as the season goes along. And really, SP Plus looks at three metrics. It's returning production, it's a recent recruiting, and then it's your recent history. Basically, some information from the previous 4 seasons that kind of determine how your program has been. Okay, so he uses those three metrics, essentially. Now, we could look at LSU's returning production and assume it's not going to be very good because there's also a ton of production offensively. We could look at recent recruiting, which has been good, obviously, for LSU, and then their recent history. You've got back-to-back 10-win seasons after a couple of disappointing seasons in 2020 and 2021. So a little bit of a mixed bag. But even still, I'm not going to bury the lead here. I'm going to give you some big picture takeaways. The post-spring SP Plus rankings, remember, like the way too early top 25 and all that has LSU somewhere in the low teens, like 13, 14 is generally where you see LSU in the polls, right? The way too early top 25 polls, the subjective top 25 that pundits are putting out. That's essentially what we're seeing. Like ESPN's got LSU at 14. The post-spring SP Plus rankings, again, this is just computer rankings, just a computer metric looking at those three things that we talked about. The post-spring SP Plus has LSU number 9 in the country. 1 spot behind Ole Miss and 1 spot ahead of Notre Dame. So your top 10 is Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon. By the way, a lot of this looks like the polls would, but there are some pretty glaring outliers. So number 1, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama. That's a change, seeing Bama at 5. Michigan at 6. Penn State, Ole Miss, LSU, then Notre Dame at 10. Missouri 11, Florida State 12, Texas A&M 13. They're pretty high on A&M there. Clemson, Oklahoma at 15. Tennessee, Kansas State, Utah, Miami, Oklahoma State. That rounds out the top 20. And another LSU opponent, USC, is right there at number 21. Iowa, SMU, Arizona, and Kentucky round out the top 25. And 1 spot out of the top 25 is another LSU opponent in UCLA. So I want to delve into some of my takeaways from this. I'm not saying that LSU is being sort of completely disregarded by the polls. But what is interesting is, as we look at a 12-team playoff, the consensus being you're going to have to go in the SEC 10-2 to get in. If you're 10-2, you're going to be in the top 12 and secure yourself a spot with maybe some dramatic outliers that could come up that could prevent that. But by and large, if you're a 10-win team, you're going to be in. And that's sort of evidence with how they phrased this as well. They looked at some metrics to say, okay, what are the odds of going 10-2? So they looked at SEC teams and all the leagues, the odds of being 10-2 or better. And LSU actually has a 43% chance of being 10-2, which is 20th in the country, but it's 6th in the SEC. So that's one thing that works against LSU, but still 43% chance of being 10-2. But consider already, SP Plus has LSU as the 9th best team in the country. We looked at Vegas odds, the point spreads, the way too early point spreads, and LSU was favored in every game where a point spread was released except the game at Texas A&M where they were a 3-point underdog. So LSU, you would presume, looking at spreads going into the season, would be favored in 11 of their 12 games. SP Plus thinks they're a top 10 team. Essentially, computers and objective data really like LSU a lot. The hard part is, how do you purge out of your brain, like if you're a human, again, a computer's not looking at this. The computer didn't watch LSU fail to get a stop for an entire half against Missouri. The computer didn't watch LSU give up 55 to Ole Miss and lose a game where they scored 48 points and led by 9 late in the fourth quarter and gagged that game away because they couldn't get a first down to seal it late. But they're just looking at all the data that they have and saying, what should you expect from this team? And the computers like LSU way more, I think, than humans do because of as bad as the defense was and what you lost on that team a year ago. Your Heisman winning quarterback, your 2 first-round picks at receiver, all that sort of stuff. One of the things LSU certainly has working against it is returning production. Again, that's part of the metric, is your returning production metric. And what was so interesting to me, LSU returned 64% of its production. Obviously, they're 28th defensively, but 79th in offensive returning production, with just 58%. You lose the talent you did offensively, and of course you're gonna be further down that list. So LSU 60th in returning production, but the way they've recruited and the recent success boosts them up the SP rankings. The one of the returning production that stood out most to me was the defending champion, Michigan. Michigan is there's 134 teams in Division I. Michigan was 126th in returning production. 126 out of 134. They had 13 players drafted. I mean, new head coach, you lose your quarterback, you lose 13 players to the NFL draft, you're 126 in returning production. I don't know how I can be bullish on Michigan this year, how anyone can be bullish on Michigan this year other than reputation. I would say the same about Alabama, quite honestly. But the other thing that, as I was kind of looking at it and looking at the, these rankings, I was looking at LSU's opponents. And this is one of the things where you can look and say, okay, I get why you can be maybe a little more bullish on LSU. Of the teams you're going to play, the 12 teams you're going to play, the highest ranked is Bama at 5 and then Ole Miss at 8. Odds makers have you favored against both of them. A&M's at 13. And yes, that's a road game, but those are going to be the 3 highest ranked teams in this SP Plus that you're going to play this year. I mentioned Oklahoma's at 15, but after that, Southern Cal at 21, where you're a 6-point favorite. UCLA at 26, where you're going to be a decided home favorite. I mean, look at the rest of it. Florida at 33. South Carolina 43. Arkansas 46. South Alabama 73. Vanderbilt 97th. I mean, you're really looking at those 3 games. Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. That's your season. How do you fare in those 3 games? If you win 2 of those 3 games, you're in the playoff. If you lose 2 of those 3 games, you don't have any margin for error anywhere else. If you win them all, I mean, you're probably getting a bye. The other thing that was really interesting to me, just as I was looking at that SP Plus number, they give you like the offensive ranking, the defensive ranking, and the special teams ranking in the SP Plus. So offensive, they love LSU. The computers love LSU offensively. The computers have LSU third, the 3rd highest rating in the SP Plus. Defense, 35th. So not terrible. Even though last year was terrible, if you're looking at a 4-year sample, last year was still an outlier. But here's the one that really stings. The special teams rating for LSU, 83rd in the country. That's the one that stings. That's the outlier. That's the hidden yards. That's the hidden points, the scoring opportunities, the field position, things that we don't often pay enough attention to that we all here intuitively know. LSU's special teams have been atrocious the last 2 years, but there's a metric that puts it in front of your face. It says, as far as special teams efficiency, you're 83rd in the country. You got to fix that this year. Muse, do you have any takeaways from these?
Yeah, man, I had a few. So, obviously I went and looked at the two teams that played for the national championship last year with Michigan and Washington. And you mentioned Michigan's returning production. Washington's right there with them. They're 125th. They both returned 40% of production there. Obviously, Michigan's recruiting recently has been way better than Washington's, but I would argue that Washington hired a better head coach to replace theirs than Michigan did.
Like a proven head coach.
Yeah, much more proven. But you look at the just gap between a Michigan at 6 and Washington's at 30. I found that interesting. Of course, Washington going into a new league as well.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, and then I went for Alabama and A&M's returning production. I was actually surprised. A&M's returning 67% of their production. I didn't expect it to be that high with how many guys entered the portal.
Look at Milroe.
A&M.
I'm sorry. This
A&M,
is Bama,
not Bama. A&M returning 67% with as many guys as they had entered the portal. I actually kind of found that surprising as well.
So many, I was thinking about that just off the top of my head. When we talk about the A&M guys that went in the portal, so many of them are linemen.
Yeah, and that illustrates that, right?
Bryce Foster, Walter Nolan.
Yeah, Walter Nolan.
Fidel Diggs. There was another offensive lineman as well that went. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. But, yeah, that does kind of illustrate some of the bigger names. Now, you lost Evan Stewart.
Which is a big one, yeah.
Yeah. But you get Connor Wigman back. Moose Muhammad's back another season, right?
I believe so, yes.
Muhammad's back. I'm spitballing off the top of the head. Interesting on A&M with the return productions. They lost 31 players in the portal. That is akin to what LSU lost after Ogeron was fired. Like how dramatically you're turning over your roster. But LSU won 10 games. Well, they went 9-3, beat Bama, and won the bowl game and got to 10 wins. So I don't think it's impossible for Elko at A&M to have a nice season. But, man, it's going to be just a dramatically different look all the way around for Texas A&M next year.
And on the flip side of that, Alabama, even with Milroe back, 98th in returning production. I found that kind of surprising as well. 53%. Just because Jalen Milroe did account for so much, and you think it could be a little bit, I think that illustrates how much they lost.
But that's offense and defense, though, right?
Yes, it is. It is offense and defense.
Well, shoot, they lost Caleb Downs, who's their leading tackler.
64% returning on offense, 42% returning on defense.
That makes more sense. Still, wow. Good luck, Kalen DeBoer. But not really. I don't wish you luck at all. All right, it's After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Love telling you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations across South Louisiana. You know where to find them, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Y'all, it's Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people get on the road, maybe head to the beach. Of course, make sure you take time this Memorial Day weekend. Remember why we celebrate Memorial Day weekend. But the truth is, a lot of people do travel on this weekend. And before you hit the road, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shawbill's, rotate the tires, check the oil, make sure if you haven't had your tune-up, get that done. If the brakes are squeaking, make sure your vehicle's safe, tip-top shape, ready to hit the road to the beach or wherever you might be going this Memorial Day weekend. Shawbill's can help you do it, and they'll always treat you like family. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. In 1 hour, Daniel Hager is going to be here. If you don't know the name, that's fine. He covers the Kentucky Wildcats. So we'll give you a thumbnail preview of LSU's opponent, team that won the league this year at 22-8 in the conference. We'll give you a preview of Kentucky with Daniel Hager 1 hour from right now. We'll look forward to that. When we come back, our buddy Michael Anderson will be in studio working on some really cool NIL projects. Talk a lot about sneakers, and he's done amazing stuff. You've seen him do deals with Dylan Cruz. You've seen him work with Livy Dunn. He's got some baseball ones that he's done here of late. We'll talk to Michael in studio when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, you need to call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. I want you to remember this. If you're ready to sell your home, Darren James has a free appraisal service. You want a free appraisal of your home? You need to call Darren James. You do it right now. How much will your home sell for? What would Darren James list your home for? Go through that process today if you're thinking about selling your home. Call Darren right now. I'm going to give you a cell phone number. I give you a cell number every single day, and I say this in earnest, man. You call or text Darren James any time of day or night, he's going to reply. I mean, the guy's work ethic is unmatched. I feel like I work a lot. He makes me look lazy. 335-7666. 335-7666. One more time. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, y'all know I've become a stupid sneakerhead in the last year and a half. But even if you don't love sneakers or sneaker culture, that's fine. Michael Anderson's in studio with us, and he's been good enough to join us before. He's doing a cool thing because this has been a way that businesses in our area have been able to dip their toe into NIL culture with a lot of what he's doing. So I want to explain a little bit. How are you, dude? Good to have you in here, man.
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. It's always our pleasure. Let's catch me up because when we had you here last year, you did custom cleats for Dylan Cruz. I think most recently we talked to you about the custom project you did with Kim Mulkey with the basketball. We talked about that with Coach a few weeks back. Livy Dunn as well. Give people the Cliff's Notes version of who you are, what you do, and just kind of catch up to this point.
Yeah, so
I went to LSU, and the first project I ever did in the custom sneaker or cleat world was with Skylar Mays, and that was in 2018. And so we've been going strong ever since, and gotten to work with a lot of the cool LSU athletes, and it's been really awesome. And I appreciate you having me, man. You've allowed me to use your platform, and that was it almost brought me to tears hearing you talk to Kim about the project, because I wasn't even there,
Yeah.
So I appreciate that one.
That was awesome, man. For those that missed it, you tell it. You do it way better than I can.
So we had I had taken a pair of Jordans, and we cut up a game ball from the LSU Women's Basketball National Championship, and then incorporated that and the net that they had cut down onto the shoes for Kim Mulkey. It's kind of like a trophy room piece. So that was really special. Kim is awesome, and it's a cool thing for her. She's got a lot of trophies, but I think that's something a little bit different and a little bit special for that.
How? Because I asked her this when I asked her about the shoes. How did you get the ball?
Yeah.
So it was a game ball from the national championship game, and you cut up pieces of the ball and incorporated them, stitched them into the custom sneakers that you gave to Kim. So how did you get the ball?
Yeah, shout out to my guy Joe Schwartz,
Okay.
one of the assistant coaches. We had been talking about it for a minute, and a lot of people thought that there was just like one game ball, right? But they rotate several different balls in and out, so it's not like I cut up the only one that they had.
Of course. No, I think everybody understands that, but it's still cool. But like someone had to get you a game ball, which is really cool. Of course, we mentioned you've done collabs with Livy Dunn, and I would just remember as I'm looking at your page here, Jaden Daniels did Clyde's cleats as well for what's the NFL
for the Super Bowl.
It was for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I thought it was the my cleats, my cause, my cleats.
Yeah, I've done some of that stuff too.
Okay, yeah, awesome, man. So let's talk about what you're doing now for with baseball. Because I know you dropped one today.
Yeah, so we did a project today that was posted on my Instagram page with Josh Pearson. And that was really cool. I wore number 11 as a kid, and obviously, last year's national championship team. So I was really excited to work with Josh. And actually, it was, the next evolution of what I'm doing with my business, where this was the first fully funded NIL project that we've done. So Josh, shout out to my friends at Go Cairo. They had signed Josh, and then, I had talked to them about doing a pair of cleats with Josh. And really, this all came about because I'd had a few LSU basketball players like Jordan Wright reach out to me and wanting to do a project. But I've gotten to a point where I'm charging a little bit more than I was before. Right?
It's amazing what happens when the business scales.
Right.
Huh?
And
Yeah.
and some of the athletes, I feel like NIL has been pretty top heavy. So a lot of the college kids, like the NFL guys, obviously they can pay me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of the college students, like even if they are getting NIL deals, don't have a ton of just extra income for something like that. So I was kind of losing sleep over not being able to work with someone like Jordan, when that's a project that I want to take and is good for like my market share and being able to do that. So I was tossing and turning, and I figured out, all right, well, why don't I get a corporate sponsor for some of these projects, so where the athlete isn't having to pay for it, but then in return the company is getting credit on the Instagram reels. They're collab posting with myself and the athlete, getting shout outs on social media. They're getting the reel, all the photos, and then they get to give the cleats to the athlete on their behalf.
That's cool. So the Go Cairo guys went, I saw they're like in the reel, so they went to present the cleats with you to Josh, and I guess they could capture content there as well.
Yeah, Chelsea, the marketing director, and then Dr. Shea and Dr. Woodley were with me at Jacob Zumo's gallery in Baton Rouge whenever we did the delivery, so that was really cool.
Yeah, man. Michael Anderson's with us. Get.like.mike on Instagram. Get.like.mike on Instagram. You see all the collabs that he's done, the cool projects. You got a couple more baseball projects coming up as well?
Yeah, so I've already completed a couple of them. So we did for the Texas A&M series. I did a project with Stephen Milam, and that was pretty cool. His nickname is Monster. So we actually did some Monster Dunk themed cleats, cool. And this is actually awesome because I didn't use any paint on these. These are full cut and sew. So basically, I used this like fuzzy like fur fabric and made what looks like a Nike Dunk on top of an existing cleat, and so I stitched everything on.
Very cool.
So the full cut and sew part is part of where I'm trying to take this. That was cool. A lot of trial and error, but it turned out great.
Is that up on your Instagram?
No, so it's not, but it will be. We're still working on the content side of that, but it will be soon.
Okay.
And really like this all is supposed to just be, a call to action to local businesses as a way to get involved. I think there's such a need, both for the players, and then also for, the companies to get advertising. And, I'm working with Sunshine John Deere and Grace. And obviously you guys can see that. Yeah, right.
if you're not watching today, like our whole Sunshine is our title sponsor of our Tuesday shows, and like the whole set is green and there's sunshine. I mean, there's a tractor.
We got the tractor.
Yeah. There's like a miniature tractor on the set. There's the panels. I mean, we're fond of our friends at Sunshine. They're just awesome. Rooney and Grace, everybody, they're awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, the NIL scene has been a little top heavy, and like the biggest stars are getting all the deals, and so what I'm offering is a way for local businesses to get involved without having to sign like a massive NIL deal, that I think kind of scares people away a little bit. So, just giving them the opportunity, I can make introductions to the players and just do something like a little bit smaller scale.
One of the when you say it that way, it always reminds me of. I think most everybody is okay with NIL in the truest sense of what it was meant to be, meaning if you're a college, you're Josh Pearson, you're a kid from West Monroe, you came to LSU, you love the Tigers, you've had some huge moments in the postseason, you've been a contributor for 3 years, and you have an opportunity to do a deal, maybe make a little cash, get some custom cleats. Like, that's awesome. There's also the component of it, though, Michael, where, like, yeah, if you're Jaden Daniels, if you're Caleb Williams, you should be able to make money. But those are the stories, I think, that only get told. And the opportunities for players like Josh or like Stephen Milam are the ones that I think should be and could be more abundant whenever you structure things this way. So good on you for doing it that way. Have you gotten any response from the way you've approached NIL with these projects yet? I mean, I know it's relatively new, but have you gotten any response?
Yeah, and honestly, all the meetings that I've had have been overwhelmingly positive. So over the last 6 months, myself and my team, we've developed my business plan, and we have pitch decks. And I'll sit down with people and go over all the benefits from it and show my metrics on social media and who's going to see it. But then, I mean, it's pretty obvious from the reaction of the players, what they think about it and like how excited Josh was. And we had done the cleats were Do Damage themed, which is his family's baseball camp. So not only did he get to wear those and hit some RBIs against the #1 team in college baseball, but that's something that he and his family will have forever. Right?
Yeah.
That's a trophy room piece that they'll have. That I know that they really appreciated it.
Yeah, there's a video of him getting on base against Texas A&M wearing the cleats, which is really cool. Hey, before you go, I know we always talk about what you have going on outside of the collabs and everything. What's up next for Boot Up or for get.like.mike on Instagram is where you need to go follow stuff.
So I have a project coming up with Tommy White, and I heard there was this new like local roofing company.
Heard of him?
Maybe I don't know. It's like I think there's this guy named Matt and maybe Ryan Terrio.
Heard of him?
So hopefully I'll get to work with them on my project with Tommy. But
might be able to make that happen.
Yes, sir. And also first or second week of July, and I've been talking about this for 2 years at this point. There's been a lot of logistics and things I'm working out, but I've had a lot of people reach out that want to support me that unfortunately I don't have time to do custom shoes for because they take a lot of time. But I do have a clothing line coming out first or second week of July that I'm really excited about. That's going to give an opportunity for the people that wanted to support to be able to rep the brand. And humbly, it's very good. So I'm expecting to see a lot of people in Baton Rouge wearing it.
Should everybody just go to your Instagram? Is that the best way to go?
Yep. And then the bootupcustoms.com website, I do have the domain, and we're working on it right now. So come July, I'll be making a lot of announcements leading up to it, and you'll be able to check it out on the site as well.
In the meantime, make sure you go to his Instagram, follow him there, get.like.mike, get.like.mike. Michael and I actually met, we were like just in the green room going to do the Clay Young show randomly. We just happened to be there on the show the same day, talked both Catholic high grads, and saw your work, love everything and everything you've continued to do. So happy for your success, continuing to wish you much more of it, and we'll have you back soon, man, next time you're in town.
Thank you so much, man.
We appreciate it. That is Michael Anderson. This is After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and Pros.
AFR.
Speaking of NIL, has anybody done more than Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys? Get Gordon and get it done. We love telling you about Gordon and all the great work that he has done with the G team through NIL, giving great opportunities to student athletes, both male and female, across all different sports and many different schools as well. Of course, we've seen Tigers and Lions and Demons and Bulldogs and lots of different and Cajuns get NIL deals with Gordon. So you know what to do. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You want to see all info about the G team, you go to gordongives.com, different website, but it talks all about the Gordon Gives, the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, gordongives.com. You can see all the info up there about the G team. But remember, as I always say, the NIL's fun, the billboards are fun. Gordon, loves talking about his family, and that's the big inflatables and the flags by his office are all fun. But at its most basic level, if you're injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Don't go it alone. Do what injured people on our Save done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers and the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Adam Schefter had a report over at ESPN this morning that free agent safety Jamal Adams is set to visit with the Baltimore Ravens today. Adams, 28 years old, was released by the Seahawks in March. Of course, spent the last 4 seasons in Seattle, but played in just 34 games. A lot of injuries for him before that, of course, with the Jets. Pro Bowler, second-team All-Pro. It's been a great career. Set the safety record for sacks in a season. Remember that was 9.5 a few years back. We'll see if Baltimore is, in fact, his next stop. Alex Lang on the bump last night for the Detroit Tigers. Pitched the final inning there. Really good bounce-back effort for him after a couple rough ones. 1 shutout inning with 2 strikeouts. Lowered the ERA to 2.5. And then finally, we have an update. On DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu has began his rehab assignment with the AA Somerset team for the New York Yankees. This is the second attempt at that for DJ. He's been dealing with a foot injury, went to start, had a setback, but now back. They're easing him slow, so he's only played 1 game. But in that 1 game, LeMahieu went 1 for 1 with an RBI and 2 runs scored, 3 walks. So he's working his way back.
Are the Yankees any good, Muse?
I think they're off to an okay start this year, yeah. They're doing all right. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well. Hey, I want you to do this. If you're thinking about installing windows or siding, call Relief Windows. Make a plan to go meet one of their consultants there. They can show you the 3D imaging that we've been talking about here, about how they could show you a 3D model of a home with the windows you want, the exact siding color, so you can see what it would look like. It's really cool technology. Check it out. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, y'all. Dennis Allen spitting about the LSU, the Saints. Oh, not the LSU, nothing. Great.
AFR.
The Saints offensive line with OTAs. That's what I get for running, like, looking at BK portal targets right there on my rundown, and then, my goodness, I had a lot. Anyway, matter of fact, this is so cool. So Michael Anderson was just in here, and as he's walking out, I get a text from Dr. Blake Williamson over at the Williamson Eye Center. And I've told you for years, the Williamson Eye Center has done tons of refractive procedures on different athletes. By the way, Dr. Blake, if you're listening right now still, like, no lie, it was on the rundown to do this right now. I mean, Devin White, Caleb on Chasson. I mean, I could run down the list of dozens. There's a whole wall in the Williamson Eye Center facility right there off of Bluebonnet dedicated to all the different athletes who they've helped with refractive procedures. So they wanted to maybe get involved, do some NIL stuff with Mike, which is awesome. Bottom line, look, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, trust the best. Trust Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEye.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 10 years, while the Celtics are there for the 6th time in the last 8 years. Game 1 in Boston tonight. The Pacers are the decided underdog in this series. ESPN's Austin Rivers.
We've been overlooking them all playoffs. They just keep surprising everybody. Nobody had them beating the Knicks. People thought they were even going to lose Game 7, even with the injuries of half the Knicks core. But they just keep playing well, and their bench has been fantastic. T.J. McConnell, Obi Toppin, Nembhard, all these guys have had an impact on multiple games.
Austin Rivers on Unsportsmanlike. Our ESPN radio coverage of Game 1 starts tonight at 7:30 Eastern. The game also on ESPN and ESPN2. The Stanley Cup playoffs move to the conference final round tomorrow night in New York with the Rangers and Panthers playing Game 1 of the Eastern Final. Three-time U.S. Olympic gymnast Dominique Dawes is one of 4 new limited partners added to the Atlanta Falcons ownership group. They were approved at the NFL spring meetings today in Nashville.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Brian Kelly gave an interview to Scott Rabelais. Talked about some portal targets, positions to target. We'll get to that here in about 15 minutes. Bottom of this hour, Daniel Hager, who covers Kentucky, will be here to talk about the LSU-Kentucky matchup, which will be tomorrow morning, 9:30 there at the Hoover Met. Of course, by now, you know LSU beat Georgia 9-1 today to open up the SEC tournament. LSU, for all intents and purposes, has locked up their regional bid. They're now at 14 league wins. They've added another win, this time over a top 10, number 6 team in the RPI. They'll increase their RPI, their KPI. Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt and Florida are now underway. They're bottom 1 there in Hoover. And one of these teams, which finished an identical 13-17, LSU will take a loss, will drop below LSU in that metric. So for all intents and purposes, LSU moved itself off any perceived bubble and firmly into the field of 64. And heretofore, it feels like the next 2 days will just be lagniappe. If you manage to beat Kentucky tomorrow, awesome. But we'll find out more about Kentucky at the bottom of this hour. If you missed it, 1 hour ago, Jay Johnson was here. He was good enough to join us from the hotel there in Hoover. You can catch that on demand, as we always tell you. AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. You can get it on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Just search After Further Review. Okay. Saints opened up OTAs on Wednesday. Here was Dennis Allen recapping the first day.
Look, I thought a really good first day of practice. Certainly we're not going to jump to any conclusions right now, but I thought there were some good things I saw. I thought good competition between the offense and defense. I was pleased, but obviously we'll get in and watch the tape, and, I'm sure there's a ton of corrections that we got to make.
Listen, OTAs are always a bit of a mixed bag. We're very excited when OTAs roll around because you get beyond rookie minicamp, which is just the rookies, then certain veteran players, and then tryout players, to OTAs, which are voluntary, but for the most part, you have really good participation in OTAs. It's the first time to see the team as it's going to look on the field. So we get excited, but it's also very difficult to discern much. This is a lot of glorified walkthrough, just getting people used to terminology, the coaches, roster, working together, because you're always going to have turnover. And none bigger than on the offensive line. We've talked about it all offseason. Ryan Ramczyk could possibly have played his final snap in the NFL. Andrus Peat, after being a 2014 draft pick of the New Orleans Saints, is now a Raider. James Hurst is retired. You are looking at an offensive line where, as Dennis Allen pretty plainly said it, like, you got 2 guys right now. And this is something that all on the pre-draft and even after the draft, I've said this over and over and over again. You got 2 guys on the offensive line you feel good about. Eric McCoy at center and Cesar Ruiz at guard. And one of them, Cesar Ruiz. Everything else is a hope and a prayer. You can hope for Trevor Penning. You can hope Fuanga's ready to go. You can hope some of you can hope Saldivari takes a step. You can hope the free agents that you signed are ready to be starters and can be great players. But none of that is a certainty. And Dennis Allen knows it.
I'd say we have 2 positions on our offensive line that we feel like we've got guys that are healthy and they're kind of entrenched in those positions. I think Cesar Ruiz, we feel good about where he's at, and yet he still has to improve. I think Eric McCoy probably had his best season last year. Those are 2 positions that I feel like we feel pretty confident of exactly where we're at in those positions. The other 3 positions, we're not sure yet. Whether it's young players, whether it's due to Ramczyk's injury, some guys that we signed in free agency that aren't out here yet. So I'd say all of those other 3 positions, we're going to work extremely hard throughout OTAs and into training camp to figure out who's going to be in those spots.
Notice he said some of the free agents we signed who are not out here yet. That's an important footnote because I do think some of those guys are going to factor in very heavily for how these position battles are going to play out once you get into camp. We talked about it last week when they signed Lucas Patrick. I'm very bullish on Lucas Patrick as an interior lineman. Now, because of a guy like Nick Saldivari, who is a 4th-round draft pick, it might be hard to win a backup job on the interior. But if you can play center and both guard positions, then you're going to be more inclined to make the team as a veteran player. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get there. And in talking about this, up until this point, I've really buried the lead. Because the lead is that the Saints went out there for OTAs, and Taliese Fuanga started at left tackle, and Trevor Penning started at right tackle. Of course, Penning in college was a left tackle. He played left tackle last year as he was trying to get his sea legs under him coming back from the injury. After the first few games of the season, it was very clear that was not working, and he became essentially nothing more than a glorified tackle-eligible extra blocker. And this is a former first-round pick, as we all know. So not only are you working Penning back in as a start, but you're switching sides of the line on him here. This was Dennis Allen asked why they decided to move Penning to the right side.
I think one of the reasons why you look at potentially putting him over on the right side, it's a totally clean slate. It's a different position. It's a different coaching staff. It's a different scheme. And it's really hey, we're starting over here. We're starting new. And so I'm excited about it. I think it could be something good for him. And look, we haven't set anything in stone. We're going to evaluate how everything goes. And ultimately, our job is to get the best 5 out there come opening day.
I can respect and appreciate that, because here's one thing. I feel like we know Trevor Penning isn't going to be a left tackle in the NFL. Right. There's always the possibility you could get better and it could happen. But I feel like we know that. And Dennis Allen is essentially conceding that. You can continue to try to force that issue. But the more this goes along, the more it feels like the New Orleans Saints drafted Taliesin Fuanga with an eye on him being their left tackle, not a right tackle. We all saw him play right tackle at Oregon State. But we had Jim Mahalchek, his offensive line coach at Oregon State, on this show. And he told us point blank, the only reason Tali didn't play left tackle is because they had a veteran entrenched. It was like, don't mess with a good thing if it's working. But he told us they repped Taliesin Fuanga at left tackle in spring and in practices. Like, if something happened to the left tackle, he was going to kick over and play left. So fully believes Fuanga could be a left tackle. And remember, Jim Mahalchek had also coached in the NFL before. So the more and remember, after they drafted him, Mickey Loomis even said he's a tackle. There wasn't we'll see how it goes, maybe kicks inside. He's a tackle. Not a right tackle, a tackle. I think this was always their aim, was to say, let's make Taliesin Fuanga our left tackle, see if we can give Penning a clean slate on the right side. If it doesn't work out, left guard, and that would be his home. One more about, this is one about Fuanga, where Dennis Allen was asked if Fuanga is entrenched on the left side.
Well, I think we like some of the things that we saw. I think we want to evaluate it a little bit more. I wouldn't say anything's permanent, but I think we like that direction, and then we'll see how it goes.
Of course, nothing's permanent. If that were the case, you would have said the same thing with Trevor Penning, and now entering year 3 is in a completely different spot. But I'll remind you this as well, and I have a feeling I'm going to end up playing this a lot this offseason. Muse is laughing already. He knows me well. When John Stinchcomb was here, this was so enlightening to me, because there are so many parallels to John Stinchcomb's, the start of his career, and the start of Trevor Penning's career. Stinchcomb was a very high draft pick. He was number 37 overall. He was a high second-round pick back in 2003. And he only played in like 3 games as a rookie. He just wasn't ready. And then he got injured, and then the light bulb came on, and he ended up becoming a really good right tackle, was a Pro Bowler, and a Super Bowl winning right tackle for you. He was awesome. And I asked Stinchcomb about that, the difference in right and left tackle. Listen to what he said.
There is a transition. There is a muscle memory element to how you feel and how you set. But with that said, it just comes with reps and time. I think the bigger jump is from tackle to the inside position rather than from right to left. So much is made about the left tackle being the premier position, as if right tackle doesn't face the exact same personnel. The plays are still the same. The old adage that you're protecting your quarterback's blind side is a little bit of garbage, because it's field side and tight side. So if a quarterback is on the right hash, then most of the reads are to his left, which means the back of his helmet is facing the right side. So I don't think it's as big of a difference between the ask of what you are demanding of your left tackle from your right tackle.
By the way, Micah Parsons with the Cowboys plays left defensive end going against a right tackle. That's really tough. So I love that perspective from Stinch, but keep in mind, both of your tackles, Penning, who's been a left tackle, Fuanga, who's been a right tackle, are both switching now, and he's saying it's muscle memory. So it's getting accustomed. So both are dealing with that right now. But similarly, you could also say man, if Penning struggled on the left side, what's to say he wouldn't struggle on the right side as well? I just mentioned Micah Parsons. You play Dallas in week 2 on the road. If Trevor Penning is your starting right tackle, that means in week 2 of this year, Trevor Penning's blocking Micah Parsons. We feel good about that? You feel good? Everybody feel good? I'll feel good about that. Long way to go in this offseason. OTAs, first day of OTAs. And this is clearly something they're building, but it's critical. Like, your offensive line has got to improve if you want to keep Derek Carr upright and give yourself a chance to move the ball through the air. And obviously, in a new zone scheme, running the football when you were near the bottom of the league in rushing offense a year ago. So we can be super excited about the future and the prospects of Spencer Rattler. We could be all excited about skill talent with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed working together. Maybe seeing what a healthy Kendre Miller can do. Alvin Kamara in this offense with Clint Kubiak. And I'm with it. I'm with all that stuff. But none of it matters if your offensive line stinks. And that's just a massive, massive question as they move throughout this offseason. We're starting to get the pieces of the puzzle as they lay them out on the board right now to see how they might all start to blend and work together. Okay, y'all. It's after further review. Parrish Construction and Roofing, thrilled to tell you about our new venture. Of course, for the last 3.5 years, I've told you, do business with someone you know. And a lot of people have asked over the past several weeks, hey, man, what happened to the other company? That they're still in existence in North Louisiana. We just all collectively made a decision that what was going to be best for our long-term goals was that we split. So very amicable. So Richard Tilley and Ryan Terrio and I and Joe Morales and Trent Davis, partners in a new venture. All of our same people, same crews. Our office still right there on Perkins Road, although we do have a new office coming, which, trust when I tell you, if you drive along I-10 near Highland Road, within the next 2 months, it will be impossible to drive along I-10 near Highland Road without noticing the Parrish Construction and Roofing offices. But listen, most basic level, it's all our same people. Do business with someone you know. It's all of our same people. It's our same crews that are physically doing the work on your roof as well. Repairs and replacements, commercial and residential. It's Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. All the social handles are all at parrishbuilt if you want to go give us a follow along for all of our content. Had awful weather last week. If you had awful weather, high wind, heavy rain, hail, maybe high wind from the tornadoes, you had damage from the tornadoes as well, we can always give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. So give us a shout. Service the entire state of Louisiana. Same phone number, 364-1007. I told you it's the same. 364-1007, 225-364-1007. Or you go to the form on the homepage at parrishbuilt.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Boom, we'll be in touch immediately to schedule that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Roofing and Construction, parrishbuilt.com. Okay, we're heading up to Lexington in about 15 minutes from right now. Daniel Hager covers the Kentucky Wildcats. Get a preview of tomorrow's game with LSU and Kentucky. When we come back, Brian Kelly did a sit-down with Scott Rabelais, read the interview, had a couple of takeaways, including the fact that LSU's still targeting players in the portal, but who and what they are targeting might surprise you. We'll delve into that a little bit when we come back. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine. Don't you move.
AFR.
Man, if you are stuck in the hiring rat race and you are looking for stability, Glow Resources, they are your answers. I want to remind you, Glow Resources, I want you to really think about this number. If you're a business owner and you're hiring people and you have trouble with turnover, it doesn't matter if it's skilled blue-collar workers, white-collar labor, it doesn't matter. If you're tired of hiring people that are unreliable and so you're just turning over new employees and it's costing you money and efficiency, you need Glow Resources. Glow Resources rates themselves on how long their employees stay with your business. And Glow Resources has a 93% retention rate. Let that sink in for a moment. 93% retention rate. And if the employee they place in your business, in your job, doesn't work out, they'll give you a prorated refund or they'll hire a new employee for free. It's Glow Resources. What do you have to lose? GlowResources.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. I make a little room and she climbs on up. I open up a throttle and start.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Yeah! Muse, have I ever told you how much I love country music?
It's your...
Boy, did I trigger some people last week.
I couldn't do that one with a straight face. I tried.
Hey, man, why you hate country music?
Yeah, hey, man, why you hate country music?
There was a guy, he'll remain nameless. He took exception with the fact that I said, well, country music is it's a regionalized genre. It's not a very popular genre outside of the South, which is factually accurate. Like, you don't go to Minneapolis and hear country music stations. Like, it's a more popular Southern genre. This guy was like, that's just not true. I went and found a Spotify. Like, we can agree, Spotify, pretty reputable, right? Like, literally the #1 audio app in the world. Yes?
Yeah, Spotify, they got a lot. They got a lot of listeners.
Country was like a bottom 5 genre. I'm like, bro, sorry. It's like, it's just not about. Anyway, oh man, I'm gonna get this old guy who emailed me last week. He was so mad at me. It's like, why do I always have to hear how much you hate country music? Like, always? Always is a pretty strong indefinitive word.
It is.
Always. But I like this song. You want to know why I like it, Muse?
Why do you like this song,
Because it
Matt?
talks about tractors. And that reminds me of my good friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Had a great day today, great morning. Me and Condon on the John Deere Gator, the LSU John Deere Gator, driving around downtown Baton Rouge. I cannot wait for that video to publish.
Did you let Big C drive?
Oh, hell no.
Why not?
That's what started this whole thing. That old geriatric, you think I might let him get behind the wheel of an ATV?
Yeah.
Come on.
He can handle it.
He can barely walk.
Nah, he's got it.
No chance. So anyway, it was a good day. And mentioned it earlier, but there's a point where we were downtown and Condon came upon a group of women who were all wearing gray jumpsuits doing yard work. And they were using orange equipment. And so Condon was going to go take exception with them for the video that they weren't using green equipment, John Deere equipment. These were incarcerated women who were a part of a work release program. So Condon's not going to
Oh.
And there's video. There's video proof. There's video evidence of this. That'll be coming soon. All right. Now that I've wasted roughly half this segment, but I don't care. It was worth it. Marshawn Lattimore trade rumors. Let's do that news, right?
They're rampant. They are running rampant.
Okay. So Scott Rabelais sat down with Brian Kelly after he did the TV interviews last week with Jacques and Cobble. Sat down with Scott Rabelais. I guess of note, they did talk about the possibility of LSU playing in Ireland. If you missed it, we had Verge Osbury on last week to discuss that. Excuse me. Should have hit the cough button. He also did Brian Kelly talk about the rule changes. He talked about the helmet comm, but also does not like the 2-minute warning, which is being instituted in college football. I actually have no problem instituting the 2-minute warning. For the argument that the new clock rules are moving offense out of the game, which I don't think that's the case. I think the pace and the tempo of offense is you're still going to have plenty of offense in the game. Just the pace of the game will move along with the new clock rules. I think if you're someone who's argued against that, well, a 2-minute warning adds another timeout and will inject more offense into the game in theory and make the 2 minutes, maybe the last 2 minutes a little less frenetic. So, and, gives the networks an extra commercial timeout. But what everybody's really most interested, of course, is going to be what happens on the field. Brian Kelly did discuss JVR Suggs. And when he was asked about JVR Suggs, he talked about his maturity. The quote being, he's a mature kid. He's going to be 24 years old, is physically developed, which is certainly part of that. That's what we were looking for. He and Gio Paez now give us a little more depth. We're going to have to play a lot of guys in that position and give them all an opportunity, but they don't have to play 30 or 40 plays. That's the great part about it. I just don't know that we've seen that. Where, I'm thinking in my lifetime as an LSU fan, or really more so my time covering LSU, we've seen, and the deepest defensive line that I covered was 2011, where they rotated 11 different guys, and that counted the ends as well. They had 11 different guys. They could essentially go 3 deep across the board, and everybody played. But you still had, Benny Logan was an All-American. Sam Montgomery and Barkevius Mingo were All-Americans. And you had enough guys that were talented enough to where you didn't have a significant drop-off. So when you rotated guys in, Michael Brockers was on that defensive line, who became a first-round pick. The difference is, instead of rotating guys because there are worthy players to get guys just to keep fresh bodies coming in, are you rotating guys because you're trying to find who are the guys you can rely on? I think there's a big difference there. The other part that I think was interesting was Brian Kelly, and I know we've played the cut a bajillion times already, where at the end of spring, Wilson Alexander asked him point blank, are there any other positions than defensive tackle that you're looking at in the portal? And Brian Kelly says point blank, I don't see why we'd be looking at any position other than defensive tackle. Scott Rabelais phrased the question, Suggs gives you 83 scholarship players. Any other players in the portal you might pursue? Brian Kelly's answer, quote, yes, we're looking at a couple of other positions right now, but at other positions, meaning not defensive tackles. They're done at defensive tackle, but they're looking at other spots. I don't want to nail him to the wall on it, but it goes back to the point where I think the way he said that, do you have it? It's short. Just give a listener as a refresher.
I don't see any other positions that we need to be in the transfer portal for other than the defensive tackle position, really.
So that was at the end of spring. But again, like that was the bite that I think caused so much angst when you started missing on these defensive tackle transfer portal prospects, because it made it feel like you had to get one and it was the only thing you needed. So everybody became hyper-focused on this position when I don't know that JVR Suggs makes you a better defensive line. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll come in and be really good. But I don't know that he has those types of credentials. You didn't add like a no-doubt P5 starter or Power 4 starter, I guess. And when at the end of spring, Brian Kelly's saying, I don't know why we'd be in the portal for any other position, and now you are looking at other positions, it makes you wonder why. What positions are they, and why are you looking there? So maybe it's just the ongoing eval, and the roster isn't finished, and you've got 2 scholarship spots open, so why not use them? And apparently they're going to try to if there are players in the portal that would warrant it, and if there are, they'll take them. So be a busy offseason for Brian Kelly. As the camps are starting here in a little more than a week from right now, and it's big time recruiting season. Then you get into talking season with media days, then you report for fall camp, and it's on to year 3 for Brian Kelly and the Tigers with lofty expectations, even with all that you've lost. So good job by Scott Rabelais with the one-on-one sit down with Brian Kelly. Okay, y'all, we're brought to you by Evermore. As a matter of fact, I was just coughing a minute ago. Let me get a sip of my delicious Evermore. It's natural artesian water. You want a healthier option for your family? It's Evermore. You can go buy the big 4 packs of the 64-ounce bottles. You could use it when you need to cook with water, to put in your Keurig for coffee. I do that now as well. I'm done with tap water forever, y'all. Evermore is what I drink. It's natural artesian water. It tastes great, and it's a Louisiana product. Hey, let me also encourage you. Go find Evermore on Facebook and Instagram. One thing that they do is if you're looking for a healthier lifestyle, they do give you amazing recipes that can complement Evermore water for a healthier lifestyle. There's one up on their Facebook page right now that's a vegan carrot ginger soup. Looks delicious, but it gives you all the ingredients that you would need. Looks awesome. Check it out on their social media, EVAMOR. It's evermore.com, evermore.com. You can buy Evermore online or at great local retailers. It's a great Louisiana product. It's natural artesian water. It's Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Okay, we're not going to break. Come back. We're heading up to Kentucky. Daniel Hager covers the Wildcats. Preview tomorrow's game. I'm running late. Preview tomorrow's game with LSU and Kentucky. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up a land. She's even kind of crazy about
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Let's head to Hoover. Daniel Hager covers the Wildcats for Kentucky Sports Radio. He's on Twitter at Daniel Hager KSR. How are you, man?
I'm good, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for taking the time. So LSU and Kentucky saw each other last year in the Super Regionals. How did they go from Super Regionals a year ago to 22-8, sharing the league crown with Tennessee and a team that is a absolute lock to be a Super Regional host site as a top 8 national seed?
You know, Matt, I've really been asking myself that question the whole entire season, but it's just really a testament to the job that Coach Mingione and the staff have done. I mean, he won SEC Coach of the Year for a reason. I mean, they are starting to really develop a reputation as a transfer portal destination for these guys who maybe haven't had the best junior or senior season, and maybe they've got one more year of college eligibility, and they've just reloaded this year. I know last year they had guys such as Jackson Gray and Hunter Gillum, guys who were on their last legs, and they end up coming to UK, and they're hitting over 300, and they're right on the brink of making that All-SEC team. The guy last year that came through, Ryan Walschmidt, just made All-SEC this year. And then a guy, Nick Lopez, does designated hitter for UK, made All-SEC first team. And he was the guy last year at USC, kind of like a fringe utility guy. Not sure why they've taken him at UK, but they just keep getting these guys, and they're hitting on them. And then the talent that they've got this year, I think, is even better than last year. I mean, it's pretty wild, you know. Just UK baseball is always kind of not the greatest in baseball, like as everyone knows. And now you go from super regional to now, I mean, if they win their Lexington regional, they'll be a top 3 seed, so the competition won't be that bad, you know. They could be hosting their first ever super regional in program history, and it's really just a testament to that coaching staff and the job they did over in the off season and what they've done this season.
Yeah, it's interesting. LSU kind of on the opposite end of the regional field spectrum, where after the win today, it feels like LSU is now firmly in the field of 64. It's just a matter of how much further can they solidify that bid and how high can they climb. And if they get a win over Kentucky, that would obviously be a tremendous asset. Who are they going to face on the mound tomorrow?
So their Friday night guy is usually Trey Poozer, a right-handed pitcher out of the College of Charleston. He started out of the bullpen this year, right-hander Travis Smith, who started the season as a really coveted draft prospect, probably in the top 150. He just didn't really pan out through his first few Friday night starts. So Poozer took over, and he's done a really good job. I believe he's made 9 or 10 starts, and he's got an ERA just at about 4, so probably the SEC average. But I've heard a few names also thrown around if they don't throw him. Lefty Drew Lafferty, a redshirt freshman, he was the Tuesday night starter, which, I mean, he hasn't pitched in forever because it seems like every Tuesday night or Wednesday night game that UK's had has gotten canceled in the last 2 months. I mean, their last midweek game was April 16th. And so yeah. And so his name's been floated around. Like I said, Travis Smith, his name has been floated around also, the righty, which he's only pitched in one of their last 4 series. He's had some concerns with his arm, but when he can go, he can really go. He's the hardest throwing guy on this team. So it'll probably be one of those 3. My safe bet right now is Poozer, but I've heard that they haven't really made a decision yet, and they'll probably talk about that tonight.
I guess when you're 22-8 in the league, you're not worried about making up midweek games. I'll just go ahead and make an assumption there that it's probably going to work out either way. Daniel Hager's with us, Kentucky Sports Radio, on Twitter at Daniel Hager, KSR. If you had to pinpoint a weakness on this team, if there is an Achilles heel, what is it?
It's their pitching, especially their bullpen. I'm not even really sure if they've got a go-to guy out of the pen now. When they started struggling, that stretch they had Tennessee at home and they went on the road at South Carolina, their pitching really, really hurt them. Dominic Nyman, who won SEC Pitcher of the Week earlier this year, has really been struggling down the stretch. I think in his last 5 starts, I don't even think he's made it past the 4th inning. He's got like an ERA of 15 or something like that. Their bullpen has been pretty atrocious, really. It's just there's probably 8 relievers in that bullpen that actually throw, and I'm not even sure if I trust 2 of them right now. So we've talked about that all season long. It's something that if you get in one of these regional games and you fall behind early, I mean, the offense can make it up, but this pitching staff has put them in a really tough spot. And that's why, I mean, in all 5 of their last 5 series, there's been one game where they've just been manhandled. And it's because the pitching comes out and the team jumps on the pitching, and then you bring that bullpen in, and it's been less than stellar. And that's the problem they had last season too. And that's what came back to bite them. I mean, when you play a team like LSU last year with all the talent you had, I mean, you can't really do much there. And that's really the one thing that I'm most concerned about.
Daniel, it's stunning to know that the staff is that big of a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
They're 22-8, man. I mean, it's 22-8. Like, it's not even a doubt that they're a national seed. It's crazy. Like, how do you overcome that?
I think it's just a testament to how good their offense has been and how they score. Like, you saw that today, like a team like Georgia with Condon and just those guys that bash home runs. Like, when they're not on like they were today, they're out of it. But UK, I'll take you back to their series opener against Vanderbilt this last weekend. I know in the first inning they scored on an RBI sac bunt, an RBI sac fly, and I mean, they scored just drawn walks, drawn bases loaded walks. They are up there in the SEC and hit by pitches. They lead the SEC in stolen bases. It's just these guys get on, they set themselves up, and then when you've got a leadoff hitter like Ryan Walshman, who's a guy that he made all SEC second team, but I think that he really should have made first team over Drayling of Tennessee. I know yesterday I put a comparison of their stats together overall and the SEC stats, and Walshman was beating him out in every statistical category, and that's your leadoff guy. And he's putting himself on, and then you bring up Nick Lopez, who's hitting 380, and then you bring up Ryan Nicholson, who he's a guy that came from Cincinnati. He didn't have the best season last year. He hit 17 home runs this year. 15 of those came in SEC play. He was really struggling until he get to SEC play when you face the best players in the country, and he's I believe he's tied with Caglione for home runs hit against conference competition, which is second in the conference. So it's really just been a testament to this offense and just how 1 through 9, there isn't really a weakness. Like even James McCoy, who will play right field tomorrow, I believe he bats 7th or 8th, and he might not have the best batting average, but that dude has some elite plate vision, and that's what helped him this weekend. He drew 2 walks that loaded the bases, and then drew a walk that brought a run in from third with the bases loaded. So just 1 through 9 down, they're just so talented, and that's how they've done this with the pitching struggling. I know they've scored 10 runs in one of their games in every single SEC series but one. And against SEC pitching, that's just really incredible to do.
Daniel Hager, Kentucky Sports Radio. He's on Twitter at Daniel Hager, KSR, Hager, if you want to follow him. LSU in Kentucky, 9:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow from the Hoover Met. LSU tries to continue marching on. Kentucky knows their postseason destination already. They'll be in the friendly confines there in Lexington throughout. Hey, man, we appreciate a couple of minutes. Thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, man. Be well. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Hey, this is the time. Now is the time to call Optimize. The worst time to start thinking about a generator is when there's a storm in the Gulf. Because at that point, it's too late. And it never fails. What I would encourage you to do is if you could put yourself mentally back into the spot you were when Ida came through and you lost power. That was the tipping point for us. We were out of power for a week. And for our family, that's really tough because Drew has a lot of meds and a lot of them have to stay cold. And so we can't stay in our house if there's no power. So we had to pack up our life and move in with family until our power was restored. That was it. That was the end for us. We installed a Generac automatic home standby generator. Now when the power goes out, within 15 seconds, our generator power's on. The whole house is on like nothing happened. Optimize from Lake Charles to Slidell, every point in between on the 1012 corridor, they can help you out. They got right now a free 10-year warranty. A free 10-year warranty with a purchase right now. GeneratorPeople.com. You'll go to the website, fill out that form, have that conversation, go through the financing options. You want to pay cash for it, pay cash for it. If you need to finance it, they have options for you. Don't let a storm come, knock your power out, and then you're stuck sweating and miserable. Now is the time. GeneratorPeople.com. Optimize, Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer, is Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com. GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, y'all. Final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here. Otter forgot to give out Fade the Fever last night on Otter Locks. It's a good thing that he didn't, Muse, because that ended up being inside the number. It's 5.5 was the line. I believe it ended up a 4-point game.
They lost, though, right?
The Fever did lose.
They did lose.
Aaliyah Boston had a look at a layup. I know, I saw it on SportsCenter this morning. A layup that would have tied it in the final seconds. Missed, I think, then the UConn Sun made a couple of free throws.
The UConn Sun. They're tough out, the UConn Sun.
That's what Jimmy called them, the UConn Sun. I didn't know if that's what they were called.
Could be.
I just want to protest the WNBA now. The fact that everyone's so offended that people are like, why are you treating Caitlin Clark that way? Well, because they're professionals. Like, why are you biting the hand that feeds?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you on that.
I mean, I was watching. So I go work out. Oh, we got to go. I go work out in the morning. I come home, get shower, get ready. I got like SportsCenter and Get Up on TV. And they're like leading Get Up with Caitlin Clark. I'm going, has the WNBA ever in its existence ever led Get Up?
No.
Ever?
No.
Like, I mean, you had a good 3-decade run of never leading Get Up. The reason you are now is because of a team that's 0-4 who has one player on it that everybody cares about. Like, milk it. Appreciate her. Anyway. They're competitors, man. Sure, yes, they are. In a league nobody watches. I'm being honest. Like, you can be in your feelings about that, or you can just be honest about that. And it's not just that. I said the same thing about the NHL. It's not like it's a man-woman thing. It's the same thing with the NHL. Nobody cares about the NHL until they get, then you start seeing Stanley Cup highlights at the end. But Go look at NHL numbers. Nobody watches the NHL. Same thing. All right, we're going to break it.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegel Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Hey, remember, if you have pests, my goodness, we had those, the termites swarming in the past couple of weeks. Oh, that was miserable being outside for that. Mosquitoes, ants, wasps, they're all coming out now. If you have trouble enjoying your outdoor spaces because of some unwanted pests, our friends at Clegg's have all the products you need for that. But if you want to welcome some wonderful guests like birds, they got hummingbird feeders and regular bird feeders, all the seed as well. Check them out at Clegg's Nursery. Great ways to make your outdoor space inviting to those you want it to be inviting to. Beautiful flowers and plants and trees and shrubs. They got it all at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations. Tell them Matt sent you in. Buy local, shop local. Go see our friends at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
After further review powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, sunequip.com, sunequip.com. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
Doing great, Matt. Let's get right to it. We got a lot for you. First
All right.
of all, the NBA. Obviously, the Pacers coming off 7-game series. Boston's been pretty good in Game 1. They blew out Miami Game 1. They blew out the Cavaliers in Game 1. And Indiana shot a record close to 70% in Game 7. That's going to revert back to the mean. It all adds up to a Boston rout tonight. Picking Boston minus the big number in 10.
Okay.
I do think that Indiana's going to get a game or two, but Boston in 5 doesn't pay enough. Boston at 6 sure does. Let's do it. But from 4 or 5 to 1, check and see. Boston winning the series 4-2.
Okay.
All right. Baseball. The Minnesota Twins. How about the comebacks and the blown leads last night, huh? Minnesota was 17-3 at one stretch. In the last 7, they lost them all. They're big favorites again at Washington. The auto fade is down. Well, we're going to be back in tonight. Patrick Corbin plus a big number tonight. Nationals #1 ROI team in all of MLB. It was Washington hit last night in a big way against the struggling Twins.
All right, that's underway, by the way. Bottom 1, they're through a half an inning. Washington is plus 135 on the money line there.
That'll work.
Okay.
College baseball. Got a money line parlay. Mississippi State and Cal.
Okay.
Struggling. We know all about that. State's got a good team. They like that. And Washington a smooth 151 RPI. They no good. So hook them up together. And we're going all cowbell tonight. Need more cowbell. State minus 1.5.
1 minute remaining.
Minus 1.5 on the run line as well. They're looking for a dog. Blue Oyster Cult, baby.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Yeah.
So good. All right, I'm looking at what that money line parlays come back at plus 144 with Mississippi State and Cal, and then Otter, as he mentioned, likes Mississippi State on the money line. Or
One
more.
One more at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. It's nasty up there, but Nebraska minus 140 against Ohio State as well.
All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are at Roca Pizzeria. Charlie's sleeping on government traits tonight, so he's going from Doe's to Roca.
He's just going to stay out there on the street. All right, Otter, thank you. Have a great night. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
All right, man. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, this is going to do it for us here on this Hump Day, or this Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Sunshine Muse. Paulie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Have you ever had a Wagyu tomahawk ribeye? If you haven't, you can get one tonight at Supper Club. And not just any Wagyu tomahawk ribeye, a Wagyu tomahawk ribeye from True Grit Cattle Company in Western Pennsylvania. And that's significant because Supper Club, right there on Perkins Road, is the only restaurant in Louisiana that serves a Wagyu tomahawk ribeye from True Grit Cattle Company in Western Pennsylvania. If you want a one-of-a-kind experience and or a one-of-a-kind food experience, the only place to go is Supper Club. Open Tuesday to Saturday, open bar seating or reservations. SupperClubBTR.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. whether you're working hard or playing hard. Our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge